It clearly says right here that you have to bring the offering.
Yes, but in the case of Tuma, Rashi says otherwise.
Fascinating.
Great attitude. I can see we're gonna get really far today.
And these are the ways in which JEIC, bro, I can barely translate this Mishnah, let alone give a lesson on it, bro. How am I supposed to teach this to the class?
You're gonna learn it just to connect, and you're gonna rise to the occasion.
I'm gonna fall flat on my face.
And these are the ways in which JEIC ordered learning for its own sake.
They made innovation a priority, facilitating new ideas through challenge grants. They joined funders and shared labor to think together and shape vision.
They convened diverse thinkers, and the Innovators Retreat became a moed, a set time of renewal. They sought intrinsic motivation.
Cultivation of an inner desire oriented toward Judaism, God, and sacred texts. They attended to the soul of the student
And set God at the center, binding that soul to what is greater than itself. And they labored for culture change, that the school should hold both and endure. Endure.
That was really tough to watch. Don't get caught up in all that.
Yeah.
You should learn it just to learn it.
And these are the ways in which JEIC ordered learning for its own sake. Wait, is this even a real Mishnah? Don't ask a kasha on a maisa.
Okay, whatever.
They made innovation a priority, facilitating new ideas through challenge grants.
But they were still really small amounts of money relative to a school's budget. And then we would bring those finalists down to that Shark Tank that everybody thinks of as JEIC's early days. And, you know, the idea was, can we find the best and brightest who are doing the kinds of things that might be replicable in other places?
So I think that Rabbi Feld and Todd and I came up with a plan, an initial plan, that we needed to stimulate the innovators in the field. But there's no forum for educators like that. And so we developed the challenge.
This is basically the setup for the Kuzari. Okay. Wait, when did you learn the Kuzari? That's foundational Torah.
Okay. Dr. Ora taught it, and it stuck with me for whatever reason.
Well, yeah.
Really?
It basically flipped the script on what it means to be a Jew.
So as you are well aware, this king of the Khazars summons the most religious dudes on earth.
For this competition on the best way to relate to God.
The most important piece of the competition side was, instead of having people get grants because you know someone in the organization or because you have a funder who knows someone else who's in the funding group, we wanted to make it clear that we were talking about ideas, and we wanted to get ideas in front of people. We put it up on YouTube so that way people could see these different strategies and different things that people were doing. And again, some of them actually turned into their own projects and were funded by other people, and they did those things. The larger audience that was there, which was usually an audience of, locals, would see a whole bunch of different ways that you could organize school differently. It was, unfortunately, an emotional blow to anyone who didn't make it. So we said that's not a model we can continue. We really need to move to a model where everyone wins.
What began as a competition with the Mayberg Foundation providing funding and support for various innovations in Jewish education morphed into more strategic initiatives with the goal of radically transforming Jewish day school experience, seeking to ignite students' passion for Jewish learning by improving the way Jewish values, literacy, practice, and beliefs are transferred to the next generation.
We looked at pedagogy of partnership way back when we were doing the old Shark Tank model. And we went to them and we said, what if you kept doing some of that, but what if we gave you a grant to develop a training program so you could train people to do what you do? And that's where they began to really scale.
JEIC has helped not only expand our reach to schools and educators across the country, but the values of JEIC has allowed us in substance to kind of bring pedagogy of partnership into its full self.
And we really jumped on the bandwagon now that we saw that, they had not only the goods in terms of the educational chops, and they were beginning to train trainers, but also they had an infrastructure around them that would enable them to scale.
They joined funders in shared labor to think together and shape vision.
Well, the first thing we did was we wanted to get a group of really innovative and intelligent people in the field together to talk about these ideas. And that's how we created Hakaveret. Because we wanted to get people together to talk, to work together, to think differently about what was happening and really move them away from, we're doing this in a school, to just, if you could say theoretically, what would you want to do?
I was one of the educators that they reached out to interview to see if I would become part of Hakaveret. So I was actually part of JEIC before I was part of JEIC. But the idea wasn't to make a change in a school. The idea was to make a change in the field. And so there was a shift in approach with the same goal of changing the school field, the Jewish day school field, the culture of the entire Jewish day school field.
They convened diverse thinkers, and the Innovators Retreat became a moed, a set time of renewal.
Renewal, beautiful. The holidays are all about tapping into new perspectives. It's in the Talmud. Masechet Chagiga.
No, Chagiga, as in the volume of oral law describing the holiday pilgrimage to Jerusalem, for Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot.
So you're saying that Jews gathering in Jerusalem was the original Innovators Retreat? Not really. Well, kind of. Sure, why not?
As we shifted more into distributing models from being a generator of models, we also, at that point, became a resource and an influencer in the field and started to very much get involved, not only with, over a few years of time, hundreds of day schools in terms of coaching and guidance, but also partnerships with other influencers in the day school field. And this is part of how JEIC became a force in the field for actually shifting the conversation, the awareness, and the openness to doing better.
So one of our thought partners for many, many years has been Arnie Winchell, who has been involved in Jewish education for decades, both as a professional and as a layperson and as a funder. She approached me and Rachel Abrahams, and she came to us with the idea of creating a consortium for professional development providers and creating a professional learning community where they could learn from each other and work together. And the deep name is initials for Developing Embedded Expertise Programs.
The JEIC Consortium is really a truly revolutionary idea in the sense that you are bringing together, at the time it began about 15 and now we're up to 25 different providers who are all competing for the limited time, attention, and resources of Jewish day school educators.
There is an instructional leader within the school who, when we exit your school after 2 years or 3 years, remains the embedded expert so that the program has durability. It will be sustainable and it won't just go into the ether because we've trained you for 2 years and then it goes away. That's why it's the Deep Consortium.
They're a group that actually works together. And people want to get in, and we don't necessarily want to let everyone in because you have to actually embed expertise in the way that we describe it.
They sought intrinsic motivation, the inner drive to learn that grows from a personal sense of purpose, curiosity about God, and connection to the meaning Torah brings to one's life.
The JEIC invested in an idea of the Fuchs Mizrahi School to help teachers learn in a different way so that they could teach in a different way. Ultimately, those small summer seminars built into the movement of Lifnai V'Lifnim, that is now helping schools around the world change their culture, change the way in which they talk about God, and change the way in which students interact with each other, with teachers, with themselves, and with HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Lifnai V'Lifnim is an absolute incredible program. They make the students open and vulnerable, not only to gleaning learnings from the text, but gleaning learnings from their classmates and their teachers.
So, Lifnai V'Lifnim, when you see it on paper, seems like sort of a dreamy, strange way to think about Jewish day schools. The students are sitting around and being vulnerable and talking about deep feelings, and it just seems like a strange group therapy session that you're turning into a classroom. Instead, what it is incredibly brilliant design that starts with the teachers for the first year before it goes to the students. And then afterwards, the students create this amazing environment where they want this, they're thirsty for this. And it leads them to really thinking about who they are and the relationship they have with God.
They, and I have seen it with my own eyes, enrich the neshamot, the souls of the kids that they touch.
But that's exactly what it says.
No, look at this.
No way.
Way!
Okay, you're right.
Okay, this is beautiful. Proud teacher alert.
Dr. Ora, mark my words. By fourth period next Thursday, I will be the preeminent scholar on all things JEIC.
I love the ambition. And the good news is, you won't have to wait until Thursday. It's fourth period today.
I'm cooked.
Grades in Limudei Kodesh is destructive. I've always felt that while maybe necessary in general studies, it is not a situation with holy studies that we want to use a carrot and a stick. We really want to develop in a human being the desire to learn, the appreciation for the wisdom that's being conveyed. And I think that was something that was met with the most resistance of any idea that we introduced into the field.
Hey, okay, so you thought you had a week. Now you have an hour. But don't panic. I just don't understand how you can say that.
I can't deal with this right now. I'm done.
For the first several phases of JEIC, we didn't have a lot of allies. We really didn't.
They attended to the soul of the student.
I mean, we heard several things over and over and over, right? We heard our diagnosis is wrong. What are you talking about?
And set God at the center.
Jewish day schools, sure, they can improve here and there, but they're not fundamentally broken. And you guys are going to make things worse. What are you doing? You guys are crazy.
Binding that soul to what is greater than itself.
Welcome to nowhere. I am the driver.
Give it a moment. The Baal Shem Tov is upstairs.
The Jewish people are like spokes on an old wheel, like from a Conestoga wagon. The hub is God. If you only have two spokes, which means two paths to God, that's a really shaky wheel. The more spokes you have, the more solid the wheel is, and the closer you get to the hub, the closer each spoke gets to the next spoke. What a beautiful metaphor for what the Jewish people should all be trying to accomplish together. And that's what we're trying to do.
Bringing God into the classroom and God-centeredness into the school is giving our kids a perspective that will strengthen them from the inside out.
And that personal relationship with God is not based on necessarily one text or based on one teacher or based on one idea. It's based on this relationship that you have to develop with a student actually is curious and wants to be connected to God in that way. And that in and of itself is very personal.
I want to learn it, just to learn it, really.
Then just keep finding ways to connect.
I know that the world is changing so fast that in whatever we do next, we're going to have to be taking into account all of the technologies that exist out there. AI, of course, is in the classroom, in the hands of our students.
Yep, that's right. Here to stay.
JEIC has helped the field toward a bold and necessary vision, one in which innovation is not a buzzword, but a responsibility, where students are truly at the center, and where God-centered learning is not peripheral, but essential to the educational experience.
The best partnerships are strengthened by a shared vision and goals. And I always appreciate working together with JEIC and the Mayberg Foundation to strengthen the Jewish day schools and yeshivas in North America, because we both believe deeply in the impact of a Jewish day school education and the centrality of the educators, the teachers and administrators in ensuring the continuity of Jewish tradition.
So to the extent that we have been able to elevate a classroom, a school, to help bring the awareness in the field of the necessity for doing better and delivering more effective education to the students, we have affected each soul positively, which is going to yield a stronger Jewish nation for us in the future.
And they labored for culture change, that the school should hold both and endure.
And these are the ways in which JEIC... Bro,
Okay, so you thought you had a week? Hold on. Hey, okay, bro, can you tell him to stop? He's making faces at me.
Absolute power. Don, there are no lines in this scene. Okay, all right, let's go again.
Bro, I can barely translate this Fishna. Wait, Fishna.
I love the ambition.
What's wrong, Rachel?
I really don't understand my character's motivation here.
And that's where the data gets really interesting. Why is it so bright out here? You know what, where's my trailer? There's a goat, that's not a trailer.
Thank you.
Behold. No. It is no dialogue. Just look serious.
And what, pray tell, have you lined up next?
Big comeback story. Washed up villain, now he's teaching surfing.
Cut. Guys, this is a closed set. Cell phone should have been checked in.
They're going to be swirling around my head? Like here or here?
Okay, let's go again.
As if you could teach me?
Cut. Oh my, okay. Somebody call the casting director back here. This is ridiculous.
Hold for drone! Hold for drone!